both enjoying the scene.
All right, we're enjoying the scene too for the Adrian Knox Stakes coming up in 12 minutes' time. On the screen you can see the totes. Paulini at 560 is unders. Dame Tristolite at 310 is our tote favourite. That's free at 12.40. Great value the tote. Tab number 4. Alberghetti on a 4 for Guy at 7.80. Operator Lass at 10.90 in the market. Win. Dame Tristolite's been very easy on course. 310 on the New South Wales tab, almost a point longer on course. Paulini unders at 5.80.
Often racing. Perla Dane jumped out quickly. Plenty of speed from out wide by the looks of it. Fancy Free and Paulini are going forward. Dame Tristolite hunting up near the inside. Pegasus Queen on the improve, and so too is Anapine, who's going to race a lot closer today. Further back was Involved. Go in the Adrian Knox, and it's Dame Tristolite on top by 3/4. Paulini's in second spot. He's just starting to crank it up on the leader a little bit now. Back behind them, Anapine, followed by Pegasus Queen, Perla Dane. Operator Lass is starting to make a move. Fancy Free held in a pocket, followed by Involver, Mary Marble, and then Super Lacuna and Ra Heights, and the others are headed by Alberghetti. Coming around the turn, and Dane Tristolite has called it a day. And going up on the outside is Paulini, Operator Lass and Pegasus Queen. Fancy Free's trying to get into the clear, and Mary Marble, but Operator Lass dashed away. Anapine over on the inside is trying to go out after it, and then nicely kicked from Alberghetti running on down the outside, but it's Operator Lass in front with 100 to go, and Operator Lass will win the Adrian Knox. Anapine will get second, Alberghetti third, and then came Mary Marble, followed in behind them next by Fancy Free. Perla Dane was further back from Super Lacuna Involved, and Ra Heights from Lark Song, and then Paulini would stop back.
But if you're back to 12.50 and 3.20, $3 about Anapine, 2.60 about Alberghetti.
Super Lacuna Involved and Ra Heights from Lark Song.
I'm not so sure whether she's another Wild Iris or Republic Lass, but she's a daughter of Singspiel, and she won the Adrian Knox to give Guy 3 of the past 5, beating Anapine and Alberghetti, also trained by Guy Walter. Both of those will head on towards the Oaks. Out of the race, the favourite, Dame Tristolite here. Graham Rogerson reported pre-race that a boil on the horse's stifle had burst pre-race, that passed fit to start. Subsequent to the race, though, that the horse also had a laceration to the near fore pastern and the near hind coronet, and abrasion to the near hind pastern. A swab sample was taken. Graham Rogerson asked for some time to get all that done and report away from that.
Getty too, she's a big girl.
Lovely, lovely horse, but
winner's only tiny.
Serenade Rose is going to go ping and just dash away from them.
We'll look at the market shortly. Steve, your thoughts on the knock? Kenny has had $2 looking here about this good thing, Serenade Rose. $1.75. Zach Purton confirmed for Empress Lily at $9. Beauty Watch, Flora Danica 11. Operator Lass into 13 after yesterday. Purdy for David Hayes $15. Anapine 17. I think
the $1.75.
Oh, no doubt. Steve, okay.
I'll tip the trifecta: Serenade Rose, Flora Danica, Alberghetti. 1, 2, 3.
One races this afternoon. The Sydney City Lexus TJ Smith Stakes. Only 6 runners. We had 6 in it last year, Kenny. It was Sunray, Shamika upset the likes of Fastnet Rock and Lingy.
Yeah, I don't know if we've quite got that quality, but gee, we've got the best 6 sprinters around. And look, Garage of Fortune, Schnitzel, you know as much about them in Melbourne, their top form, as I do up here.
Here's the totes on screen. 9.80 about Red Oog has gone for a remarkable drift on course. Huey Bowman strapped up, stitched and ready to ride. Spark of Life, Schnitzel at $2.90. It's a 2-to-1 chance on course. $3.90 about Virage of Fortune. A little bit of money for it now in the betting ring. $3.90, 30 cents more with them.
Virage de Fortune came out very quickly from gate number 2. Schnitzel going up on the outside to match it in the first 200 metres. Spark of Life behind them. Glamour Puss is rolling up on the inside. Stratum easing back, and Red Oo's gone back to last of all. Inside, the filly held together. Virage de Fortune over Schnitzel on the outside, about a half a length away. Glamour Puss is back on the inside, just starting to be niggered along now by King, trying to push Spark of Life out of the way, and he succeeded in doing that. Spark of Life is now 4 deep on the turn, and then Red Oog and Stratum coming for home now on the TJ Smith. Virage de Fortune a half in front of Schnitzel. They're both nursed up the rise. Glamour Puss is coming after them on the outside. It's Schnitzel going after Virage de Fortune. Schnitzel puts its head in front of Virage de Fortune at the 200. Glamour Puss is next, and Red Oog is running on. It's Schnitzel just in front. Glamour Puss and Red Oog's trying to sandwich through. Red Oog has come through in the centre, and Red Oog has stuck its head out and may have won it. Red Oog from Glamour Puss in a photo. Schnitzel third, Virage de Fortune fourth, and then Stratum, and last in was Spark of Life.
Well, Huey Bowman had stitches put in his right foot after race 2 this afternoon. He missed missed the ride in race 3, strapped himself up, hobbled out to jump aboard Red Oog, and he takes the Group 1 at 18-1 in the ring, the outside of the field, Kenny. It happened last year with Shamika. It's happened again. All those, Kenny, 89. Believe it or not, this horse opened up $7.50 in the betting ring, got out to $18, $11.80 on New South Wales tote, $3.80 the place, $2.40 Glamour Push, no third for Schnitzel.
Didn't have a ride, but Huey's only been beaten on this horse once. I think he's won 6 on him, so nice to have him on.
He certainly is. He's a big race rider, Hugh Bowman, mate. Well done. Beaten on this bloke on once.
Yeah, he's a wonderful horse. Tries his heart out, and I knew the pace would be solid. He was always going to be well suited by that. Blinkers back on today. Congratulations, Joe, but what a wonderful horse.
He is a wonderful horse.
Strata and last in was Spark of Life.
Well, it was an upset last year, of course, when Shamika upset Fastnet Rock and Alingi. And again this year, Red Oog giving Hugh Bowman and Joe Pride their second Group 1 victory with this horse. $18 the outside of the field, beating Glamour Puss and Schnitzel, who ran favourite in 1.972. They didn't go that hard early, 35-33 for the first half, home in 34-39. Let's go to Hugh Bowman.
They went pretty slow for a Group 1 race, which makes Roads of Fortune disappointing. Like, to run just under 36 for the first 600 metres is quite unbelievable. So she was disappointing. Stitzel didn't go as good as I thought he would. Glamour Puss was honest, but Red Oog beat them. So
I'll tell you something, gentlemen, I disagree with your thoughts that they went too slow early. I reckon it suits sprinters up in front, dictating terms like that. It makes it very hard for the back markers to get home. So I didn't think any of the horses were disappointing in that race. The best horse won on the day.
So I agree with you overall. I'm just saying it was just another observation. I'd love to have my horse travelling, holding up, and then go zip.
I'm trying my best to fire you up today, Kenny.
I'm not. I think you're making a lot of sense.
Where's that porcupine?
Roads of Fortune is off to Brisbane for the BTC Sprint. Schnitzel to the Spelling Paddock, as is, of course, the Spark of Life.
In the size produce coming up, Bruce. David Hayes has got the favourite, Churchill Downs. He's also got the best back runner, the second favourite.
All right, we'll get to it shortly. Delago Mist you're talking about. There's the totes on screen. $3.80 is the tote favourite, Churchill Downs. A couple of fillies. 13 Delago Mist, $7.30. That's great value. It's been well tried on course. And 14 Universal Queen, $7.40.
We're just mentioning something to me off here.
Trainer to win the Blue Diamond, VRC size, Golden Slipper and AJC size. Has that been number 4, Kenny?
I'd have to doubt it.
Well, I'd have to doubt it. The money says it'll happen here, Delago Mist. But as I say that, there's also been a good rally for Mentality.
Yeah, equal favourites now. Mentality.
Racing in the size, and down the wicket on the outside, one of the best in stride. Excite seemed to get a check at the start, and he's gone well back, and Casino Prince is second last. Rubric's hunted through on the inside, joined by Universal Queen, who puts her head in front now. Down the wicket, going up on the outside, My Midi is foreground. Express was back behind them, and Casino Prince is also pulling his head off back and wide. Oh, one's gone through the fence there, nearly Rubric. There was a big mess up there at about the 700 metres. Rubric got flattened, and Universal Queen left in front. Lead from down the wicket, O'Callaghan, Diego Garcia whipping up around the outside. The grey on the inside, Delago Mist is saving plenty of ground. She's coming into it nicely, followed by My Midi. As they make the turn, it's Universal Queen just in front of down the wicket. And then came Delago Mist and Diego Garcia. My Midi and O'Callaghan were next, and then Playground Express and Churchill Downs. Universal Queen and down the wicket. They're fighting it out at the 200 in advance of My Midi. Excites us coming down the outside. Down the wicket gets the better Universal Queen. Here comes Excites running on strongly down the centre of the track. Down the wicket, Excites and My Midi. It's down the wicket, taken on by Excites, and Excites gets up to win it. Excites has beaten down the wicket. My Midi got third, and then Delago Mist and Love You Leo, Playground Express, Universal Queen. And then Mentality, Churchill Downs. Back behind them, O'Callaghan. And then came Just Mambo, Diego Garcia, Casino Prince. And Rubric has come in a distant last after nearly going through the fence at the 800 metres. I'm not sure what happened in that incident, but
he was the least experienced horse in the race, Kenny. I said in the parade ring he was the best type in the race. He's a horse obviously of great talent.
Brucey,
5.62 home. It was a rough house affair. You'll get 28.20 and 7.10, 5.10 for down the wicket. My Midi at 5.70. Quinella $350.20. Look, there's a lot to come out of this, I'm sure, and Rubric, well, lucky to even complete the course.
Yeah, we're looking at a bit of that interference there where Rubric hits the inside rail. By golly, we're lucky there's give in those rails. Under the old wooden rails, that'd be down, and Grant Cooksley be in a lot of trouble.
Mentality, well-tried mentality in the orange ended up being trapped wide. Now here it is, Kenny. Look for the horse right behind the leader there. That's the horse, and we'll just see what actually happens here. It just tends to climb the fence.
It looks to be his own fault, doesn't it?
Yep.
And tries to climb the fence, and oh boy, and then of course Jeff's right out. Delago missed the grey, was very, very.
Or just hopeful this afternoon.
We were hopeful, but he's always been a magnificent colt. He's always shown well above average ability, and he's a magnificent type. He's got the breeding, and you know, he's a proper racehorse. I think he's got a huge future, and you know, I think he'll do great things in the spring.
What about the future? What about 7 days' time, the Champagne?
Won't be running.
Won't be running, mate. Well,
Warren, who bred this good colt, Excites, out of their good mare staging, had run second in a QTC size, placed in the Doomben 10,000 and also a Stradbroke, but gets a Group 1 with Excites for Zach Purton, his first, down.
Yeah, for sure. I went from being back last on the fence, and I was following a couple of handy horses in the race, and when it happened, they just skilled it everywhere.
Is there much calling, or has it happened too quickly?
It is coming up now too.
Zach, just point out where you are. Well, you're back last with the green and
last, obviously, behind the horse in the yellow.
Watch the aluminium running rail bend in at least half a metre here, and those uprights are steel, folks, back at home. And I'll tell you, very, very lucky that the rail, because of the joins, didn't open right up, and sometimes it can peel up in front of you, can't it?
Happened to land so solid.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, having a Huey Bowman, he got caught on a steel upright with his foot earlier in the day.
And as you see here.
The race, sorry, Clay, the race completely changed complexion, didn't it, when that horse hit the running rail out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everything that had a posse all of a sudden ended up out 3 and 4 deep, and a horse like my horse, who ended up sort of out the back door, was suddenly in the race.
He looks like a good horse to ride too.
He's a lovely horse. He's got a lovely action. He's a
third restart. Ronnie Excites, winning the size.
Yeah, looks a lovely colt too. He's got a lovely pedigree there. Very unusual to see Guy Walter line a 2-year-old up in a Group 1. I think this might have been the first time ever. And when he lines one up, you've got to take note that he's got an opinion of the horse. May have been a little flattering because the race was pulled apart when there was interference.
And I'm worried about the depth of the field too, because they finished fairly bunched up, and you know, a horse with little experience rolls home and beats them. There's interference in the race. I'm just a bit concerned that it's not, you know, the real deal. You know.
The one shot in this in Big Eagle, but there's the market on screen for the David Jones AJC Australian Derby. Well tried, number 1 De Beers, 680's about right, 540 Primus, that's value. 390 Head Turner is spot on what's happening on course. Spinny, $7 the page. Goldtown now on the tote at $9.50. That's way unders, but there has been a little money for it at long odds. That is the market for. More importantly, it's still coming for Head Turner, but the stablemate Spinny also.
Yeah, the 2 best back runners. Spinny's come in 1.5. Well back to Beers. They're the 3 that the punters have turned to. Head Turner.
Stand by for a start. Racing in the Derby. Dream Ballad missed the start, and Spinny got cut out at the start. He was checked, and he's back last of all. And De Beers has fired out from a wide alley. Williams has set him across, and Goldtown's going with him on the inside. So it's De Beers held off the rail by Goldtown. La Celebritaire slots in behind them from Kin Charm and Primus. Testifiable 3 wide out of the straight from Sumac. Head Turner the favourite just past midfield, racing one off the fence. By Spinny, and last is Julio. They string right out in the Derby, 20 lengths first to last, and it's Goldtown in front. Rated well by Glenn Boss, a length on Testifiable, who's fired up. He's pulling hard. La Celebritaire was forced out 3 deep, and Childs is taking off now, and he's going up to attack for the lead. Back behind them, Sumac and Primus, and further back was Head Turner. He's joined now by Big Eagle, whipping around the outside, and then came Dream Ballad and Sepia. Spinny is second last, and last is Julio. Around the next corner at the 900 metres, Goldtown given a little bit more rain. A length and a half on La Celebritaire. Kin Charmer's next, and then Testifiable, who's gone back to 4th. De Beers is next, followed by Sumac. Head Turner's next. He's one away from the fence on the inside there of Big Eagle. Back behind those horses next is Primus with Dream Ballad and Julio, and further back behind them, Spinny and Sepia's back near the tail of the field. Goldtown flat to the boards at the 500. They're coming after him. La Celebritaire moves up with Testifiable, Kin Charm, and then came De Beers and Sumac. Primus is now starting to launch his run on the outside as they turn for home in the Derby. Up the rise, and De Beers has gone up to claim the lead. Down the outside, Head Turner and Primus are going after De Beers. Down to the 200, and Head Turner's putting in the big ones. He goes after De Beers. It's Head Turner on the outside. He goes up and hits the lead. He should have won the VRC Derby, and he's going to win the AJC Derby. Head Turner racing away for Beedman. Wins it from De Beers, a photo third, possibly testifiable, just in front of Primus. And then came Spinney. Back behind them, Kin Charm and Sepia, Big Eagle. Then came La Celebritaire, Dream Ballad and Sumac. And then Julio. At a long last was Gold Town.
As Mark Sheehan said in his graphic call, he should have won the VRC Derby. He didn't, but he wins the AJC Derby. And John Hawkes and Darren Beedman do it again. As they...
up. Bruce, I know you get plenty of weight in them, but that's a Cups horse.
Oh, no doubt about that, Kenny. Of course, Railings carried these colours to win a Caulfield Cup. This horse has probably got a little bit more dash than Railings, and the connections...
He's probably got the dash to be competitive in a Cox Plate.
No doubt. Interesting that they've run 37.18 the last 600. They haven't really hit the line here. I mean, the speed was on, but Testifiable's effort is full of merit. There's the totes on screen. 420 into 360 in the ring, heavily backed. 370 the tote.
I was just smoking at the 1800, switched off and just worked into the race tonight. It's nice. I was following a horse that would take me to the race, Primus. Wasn't behind us, sort of dodging well. I sort of followed Zach, get out 3 deep, following 101 pop, but got the right run at the right time, and the rest is history, mate.
Mate, congratulations. So rightly said in his call there, should have won the Victoria Derby. Head Turner when Darren perhaps got it wrong, but he got it right yesterday, and a thoroughly dominant performance by Head Turner, by Anna Barr, trained by John Hawkes, for a team headed by Tony Pistakakis and Gerard Peterson. Congratulations to them. Of course, they won the Caulfield Cup last year with Railings. A big team, beating De Beers, who was good. The Roseville Guineas winner. Testifiable was brilliant. Simon, how did you see the Derby? The best horse won, clearly.
Oh, look, it was great to see a true staying event, if you like. Gold Town applied the pressure. Greg Childs then moved up mid-race. Kenny on the day. But we like to allude to the punters there at home to follow the first 4 horses out of this race, because I think they're all going to go on and be good horses eventually.
We'll get to the horses to come out of it.
No doubt the winner was the best run, Head Turner, and he certainly looks a Cups prospect, a weight for age prospect of the spring. He was too good. I thought Testifiable's run was super. Had to be used up, had no luck at all early, as you heard Craig Newitt say, and for him to fight on for third, if he goes on with it, and he's a lovely big horse, he's going to do something. I was a bit surprised to see Greg Childs make the mid-race move on La Celebritaire, a 100 to 1 shot or an 80 to 1 shot. Ironically, by Greg keeping the speed on at that stage, that was probably against the horse's stablemate Primus, who was suspect at the journey, and it probably helped the true stayers like the winner. I thought Primus, I think Denny Nikolic summed that up. He's a good horse, Primus, has a lot of quality. The distance beat him. I thought Sepia was disappointing, he plugged. But all honours with the winner.
No, the last 50 metres he's getting away from them, isn't he, on the line? He's
best horse won the race.
Well, I think he was trying the strongest.
Simon, I always look at that in the Derby. You get horses like Might and Power and Railings jumping out of the minor placings, or I think Might and Power finished about 5th or 6th. No doubt about the winner this year, but I think Testifiable might be the one to jump up too.
Right, Clarkie, I've got to say him.
One of the principal events yesterday, D. Beedman and Head Turner.
What a great ride. I mean, the pace was on. I mean, it dropped it occasionally for, a half a furlong or so in the race, but Head Turner just sat at the back with Darren just smoking his pipe, just letting him bowl along. Beautiful big staying type, and peeled into the outside. Ronnie made that one run down the middle of the track, and he won like a real stayer. It was a staying test, and he won like one.
And it didn't look a staying test on paper, which it's amazing how the negative turnaround can happen. Everyone thinks there's no speed, and about 3 or 4 of them want to go forward. But this horse always promised to be the best horse in the land after the spring. He seemed to lose his way a couple of runs this time in, but the timing was perfect. He's a horse that I think he used to look a little light in the spring, but he's really muscled up.
I think he's a Cups class horse.
Oh, definitely.
He can stay, and that's you can get trapped by AJC Derbies and VRC Derbies. Horses win them that can't really stay because often there's not a lot of pace on. They just jockey up behind the leader, and they sprint and they outsprint the others and win with class. But I think he's a real stayer for Melbourne.
To get the advantage of the lighter weight, though.
I wouldn't mind taking a punt that this horse this year is a better horse than Railings.
I think so, but they got 2 bites of the cherry with both horses. They can both stay, and their live chances looming into the spring.
Right about De Beers.
Looming into the spring.
Right about De Beers.
He ran out of his skin. I had big doubts on him running a 1.5 miles. He was aggressively ridden out of the barrier. I thought it was a perfectly orchestrated ride by Williams again. And look, he was gallant in defeat.
He was. That's a classy effort, and he may get 20.
Every chance, boys, that Dream Ballad, gelded or retired, is the words from Guy Walter this morning. They're not.
Look at the totes, Ken. Dazelle, $4, second pick behind Forum. Well, Darren Beeman rides against Johnny here. He rides for John O'Shea. He rides the favourite Forum, $3.60 ahead of Dazelle at $4. Diamond Jake, up chance. Couple of Kiwis with some hope. Willie Smith, 1970, and 3 Chimneys at
the way they're racing, their best chance might be Prayer.
Yeah. They're off, and Kinjales missed the start by 2 lengths. Force 9 and Zabid also missed it, and Willie Smith going right back shortly after the jump. Forum's going to settle down in the last 3 or 4. Champion System going forward with 3 Chimneys and Crossbar behind them. Colmaine was not. Then Colmaine and Honourjeune from Force 9. Beedman is starting to edge up now on Forum. He's coming around the outside of Diamond Jake, and then came Dazelle, which has got relegated back into the field from Willie Smith, and Kinjale is last. Coming to the turn now, and it's Zarbeat just in front of 3 Chimneys. Crossbar's about to join them on the outside. 2 or 3 lengths behind them. Next is Danebar, and Forum is coming down the outside. Crossbar took over at the 200. He leads from 3 Chimneys. Here comes Beedman again on Forum, right down the outside, and Forum from last has hit the front, taken over now, and it's all over bar the shouting. Forum is racing away with the chairmans. He's hands and heels only, and he treats them with contempt to beat 3 Chimneys and Crossbar. Dazelle was 4th, and then Danebar, followed by Colmaine and Diamond Jake, Honourjeune and Vitesse, and then Zarbeat, Kinjale, followed by Willie Smith, Champion System, and Force 9 was last in.
Darren Beeman again. He's only had 4 rides on Forum for 3 wins and a second. It was a stunning ride mid-race there, Kenny.
He's got a great hope in the Sydney Cup, but I think probably with the Beedman factor, Sydney punters are probably warm to this fellow.
As they did today. Well, that's 3 out of 4 for Darren on Forum, who's now favourite for the Sydney Cup at $5. We'll look at the market shortly. Great ride. 3 Chimneys was good on pace. Crossbar likewise out of it. Kinjale's pulled up lame, goes to the paddock, and Vitesse won't go on to the Sydney Cup. Now, Darren, this is a great ride here. You can look at this.
He was used early, was passed by the Crossbar, whatever his name is, in the straight, and yet he kicked back again to run second. Racing up on the speed in the Sydney Cup, I think 3 Chimneys has got to be in the reckoning.
I love he beat Pentane, who was an Auckland Cup winner. Right. He is your smoky in the Sydney Cup.
Steve, you're a Molotov man. Anything there you saw yesterday got any chance of beating yours?
I don't think so. Only the winner. The winner was emphatic. Nothing that finished behind Forum yesterday could possibly win the Sydney Cup. 35.7 last 600. That's the same as the 2 1400-metre races. The pace was steady. 3 Chimneys had every conceivable hope. Couldn't win the Sydney Cup if it started now. And the winner was far too good.
Thank you for that.
The Forum's winning the chairmans. There it is now, the new market, courtesy of Michael Iskander. $5 Forum, Demerger $6, Molotov $6, Aquadamore at $9, Lachlan River $9.
And beat.
Honourjeune will beat 3 Chimneys.
Will it? Yeah. Okay. Can I have a tip?
Yeah.
Has everyone forgotten about Demerger? Has she got 3 legs or something? Hey, she is a liquor stop special on her way for age form. She'll blow them away.
Thank you. Let's have a look at the
because Karazi went round in the Rich Nakayama Grand Jump.
Here, get over the 3rd jump. It's Bolt Fountain leading the way. Running second as they approach the 2nd turn. Running there, Bolt Fountain from Fonterra. Then a gap to Laurel Defy. Back on the fence is Majoro Ormond. Then TM Dragon just going past it. Then back to Minor Opa. Minor Universe. Then further gap on the fence is Ein Orthen. Merlos alongside it. Telegenic back there. Minor Irvin and Minor Magic well back. Peeling around the outside is Mercy A-Time. Down the back straight they go. And leading the way, Majoro Ormond pulling up. Laurel Defy is running 3rd. TM Dragon, the favourite, running 4th. There's Karazi pulling up in 5th place now. Back on the inside. Majoro Ormond from Fonterra, a 5 lengths gap back to Laurel Defy. Karazi is into 4th place. TM Dragon back on the fence, not far away from Telegenic. Ormond leading the way from Fonterra. Karazi running 3rd. Laurel Defy is 4th. TM Dragon is 5th. Then gap back to Telegenic. Mercy A-Time. Merlos is there on the outside of On Orthen, and then back to Minor Opar. Then comes Majoro Irvin. Then a gap back to Majoro Bassinger. Minor Opar and Azuma beyond the last one. It's still Major Ormond, but Karazi has taken it on the Aussie. Karazi has swept around Major Ormond. TM Dragon is just behind it with Telegenic not far away. 400 metres to go. Brett Scott has Karazi in front. Here comes TM Dragon. Karazi's kicked away from TM Dragon. They come to the last. Over it goes with Karazi. Karazi with Brett Scott running vigorously. TM Dragon coming to it. Karazi's kicking. TM Dragon down the outside. Karazi and TM Dragon. Karazi, TM Dragon. Karazi, TM Dragon. Karazi's done it again. TM Dragon got second, then back to Telegenic. Mercier time. Out wide was Major O'Arben. A gap back further to Minor Opa. One of the ones pulling it, Azuma beyond. Merlos was not far away, then Minor V. But the Aussie horse, Karazi, back to back. Nakayama jumps. He's done it again.
Done it again, all right. What a race. What a thrill to watch that.
Different styles there, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure. Totally different styles. Now, Eric Musgrove, 1 minute is in Japan. Now, apparently, he's just arrived back in Australia. Eric, good morning.
You know, for him to win back-to-back was just a huge thrill.
We're just watching the closing stages. I was getting a bit anxious over the closing stages there.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad B. Scott on board.
Yes, he certainly he didn't miss old Karazi, the poor old bugger. Was there anything said by the stewards about his use of the whip? I know they're not as keen on it in Japan as they are here.
Yeah, no, look, he rides him right. They queried him last year, but Karazi's pretty relaxed and he finds under pressure, and you know they didn't have anything to say about it at all. It's just that it's noticeably different to when you look at the Japanese riders.
Sure is.
Eric, it's Andrew here. I'm just looking at the future of this horse. He's now won 2 Nakayama Grand Jumps. He's 11 years of age. Will we see him race in Australia again?
Yeah, he'll run on the flat, but not over fences, Andrew. Look, you know, for what he's done, he wouldn't be able to carry the weight that he'd get here. So what we've decided to do, he's already had an invitation now to go back again. So we'll just give him a break when he gets home, and we'll just work his program out to have a third stint. He's a lovely sound horse, and he's got no problems. So, you know, why not go back again?
Eric, he only looks
a remarkable win that we're watching again, simply because the Japanese locals over there would not see the second horse being beaten. They reckon this is just a champion jumper, Eric, their horse.
Yeah, no, as soon as we got off the plane, they said, well, you won it last year, but you won't be winning it this year. And, you know, look, he's a very good horse, there's no question about it. And
total prize money for Karazi, how much is it now?
I think it's just under $1 million Australian.
How many?
How many?
Just under $3 million Australian, I think.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and because it ran 4th in the Melbourne Cup.
Yep.
It ran 4th in the Brisbane Cup, I think. Wow.
Yep.
Eric, congratulations. We're thrilled for you, mate. And you have a Silver Jubilee, Group 1 in Hong Kong. Let's have a look at that.
Joyful Winner trying to pick up. Felix Nichols at Silent Witness. He can't shake off High Intelligent. Coming on now, Dave's Best. Joyful Winner gives the leaders 2 lengths, stays on. Silent Witness rallies and kicks. Give Up never wins a race. Joyful Winner does not give up. He chases hard. Comes at Silent Witness. Joyful Winner drives. He's too good. Joyful Winner wins half a length.
As you were just saying there, poor old Silent Witness.
That's sad.
It's an El Moxie Quinella, isn't it?
It is an El Moxie Quinella.
And Christophe Simeon again.
The old Silent Witness, when he would have dominated for the front with his ears pricked there, would have put 8 in this lot.
Yeah. He's not the horse he was.
No, he got to stop.
Geez, these French Christophs go well.
Hey,
say that the winner's pretty good, boys.
Christophe Simeon again.
The old Silent Witness, when he would have dominated for the front with his ears pricked there, would have put 8 in this lot.
Yeah. He's not the horse he was.
No, he got to stop.
Geez, these French Christophs go well.
Hey, say that the winner's pretty good, boys. John Moore, he's pretty good, but Silent Witness, they'll have one more crack in the champions pile next start.
Yeah.
What else do you do with him?
Spelling.
He's a racehorse.
Where would you spell him? Where would you spell him?
David Hayes is the
spell. That's why he's not going there.
Now, Alfie, you make
is certainly no stranger to you, or you're no stranger to Randwick, but you're the first Aussie jockey to go to the US. You
take him on and lead him here, but I just think he's probably on the up, whereas she's had a few runs. She's obviously going to be on top of the ladder. They're off and racing and they jumped as one. Coronga from gate number 2 began well. Alsamura is starting to roll forward and Rawaya's right up there with it, and Coronga back on the inside, followed by Martini for us and Alsamura in front. Rawaya. The 5 runners come up towards the turn in the South Pacific Classic, sponsored by Bacardi Breezer at the 600. It's Alsamura in front. Leads a neck on Rawaya, so the favourites are level pegging as they come up towards the turn now. Back behind them, Coronga and Martini for us peeling to the outside, and further back last is Speedy Duke. Alsamura neck in front of Rawaya. Martini for us is coming up on the outside, is starting to issue a challenge, and Alsamura's gone. Martini for us and Rawaya, the 2 fillies, run away to fight it out. Martini for us on the outside has taken a narrow lead from Rawaya. Rawaya fights back gamely on the rail. They're stride for stride. Martini for us has got its head in front, and Martini for us has beaten Rawaya. Alsamura 4 away third, and then Coronga, and last in was Speedy Duke.
Well, Darren Beedman got the best out of Martini for us. John Hawkes making this race his own. 4 times he's won it. Oh,
he's getting out off the rail.
They are on the opening totes. 8.80 about Louder Than Manor. Desert War $9.80. Defending champ Patezza at $22.60. Malcolm for Darren Beedman in the market at $6.20. That's no surprise. Nemesis, surprisingly big odds on the tote at $10.50. Apache Cat, the Victorian, $11.60. Half that in the home state. Apache Cat. On the second page, you'll see our favourite, Racing to Win, at $4. Very short on New South Wales. Racing to Win. Much longer, of course, Super Tab and Unitab. And Johann's Toy, Chrissy Muntz back to ride at $8.20. Ken, surprised as short as that on the tote, especially in New South Wales, Racing to Win.
Yeah, they actually bet $8 at the call of the card yesterday, Bruce, and I'm sure he'll be $7 on.
The Group 3 Victoria Handicap.
At Randwick, there's a late scratching in the Doncaster. It's TAB number 1, Lad of the Manor, has an elevated temperature, is out of the Doncaster.
Well, Bruce, I tipped Utzon. It was scratched this morning. I then tipped Lad of the Manor. It's been scratched.
Well, don't tip anything else.
I think I'm a jinx.
Yeah, Lad of the Manor, a great remains, Ken.
Well, Bruce, you see that's holding over 1.1 million now, so yep. Racing to Win's getting back out a bit.
Well, he's out to $4.90, but the betting ring's seen another surge of support for him. There we are on the first page. Desert War, $7.60. You can get longer on course. $16.90 Patezza's unders. There's Racing to Win, $4.80. Well, that now is 60 cents longer than what's happening in the Randwick betting. Racing to Win as well.
Okay, we'll leave that to the boys who compiling their information in the betting ring.
Racing in the Doncaster, Apache Cat has missed the start. He's starting to drive through now, but he did dwell, and Racing to Win leads, but Apache Cat's recovered quickly to go through and take up the running. Desert War is third, and then Rosden striding forward from Nemesis, Bentley Biscuit. Nicanero was Patezza, and Malcolm is back last of all. It's Apache Cat taken on by Rosden, and Apache Cat's got fired up, and he raced about 2 lengths in front of Rosden. Racing to Win is third. Desert War is fourth, and then Bentley Biscuit. Nicanero's covering ground and going forward, and then Nemesis followed by Swick. Spirit of Tara's right off the track. It's on the outside of Ike Stream and Lord of the Land. Johann's Toy was next, followed by Patezza, and Malcolm is last of all, 12 lengths off the lead. He's got Apache Cat to settle now, but Rosden's moving up again with Nicanero, and as they get to the 650, it's Apache Cat going again. He leads now by 1.5 lengths on Rosden and Nicanero, and then Racing to Win, who's making ground near the inside from Bentley Biscuit, and then came Desert War around the outside from Spirit of Tara. Johann's Toys made ground in the centre, and Malcolm's coming to the extreme outside. Nicanero takes them on now. Desert War, Johann's Toys going for a split. Nemesis down the outside. Bentley Biscuit on the inside. Not sure where to look here, and Bentley Biscuit with the inside runnings in front. Malcolm is coming right down the outside, Racing to Win the centre. It's Racing to Win hitting the lead from Bentley Biscuit. Johann's Toy and Malcolm. Racing to Win's in front. Racing to Win takes it out. Racing to Win from either Johann's Toy, Malcolm and Bentley Biscuit from Patezza. And then Desert War, Ike Stream, Nicanero, Swick and Spirit of Tara. Then Rosden, Lord of the Land, Apache Cat, and Nemesis was back at the tail.
Well, he arrives here in a helicopter. He's walking on air, Glenn Boss. An outstanding ride on Racing to Win to get the prize.
He could nearly fly home without the helicopter, I think, Bruce.
He came here full of confidence.
What a great race, Richie. Look, a tremendous effort from the horse and a great ride from Glenn as usual, and great team effort.
His whole preparation.
Glenn Boss and John O'Shea being a team. Of course, they won with Private Steer. Well, Glenn won with Private Steer a couple of years back, but he was sacked off one of John's horses only 2 weeks ago at Rosehill. That was, of course, Primus.
Yeah, a great run too by Patezza, last year's winner. He was flashing home late. He ran 5th, half length for short head. One flying now, Glenn.
Oh, mate, that's the biggest adrenaline rush you could ever get. Winning a Doncaster,
It just doesn't get, every time you do it, it just gets better and better. I just swap me, but he just kicked and kicked.
Mate, congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Woohoo!
There he is, Kenny and Bruce. Another Group 1 for Glenn Boss. I will say as I come back to you, Chris Muntz on Johann's Toy will be going to the steward's room to review the videotape from
the $40,000 purchase from the Easter yearling sales last year wins the Group 1 Doncaster, beating Johann's Toy. Oh, teased again in another Group 1 race. Bentley Biscuit and Malcolm was pretty good there in the Doncaster. Kenny racing to win, great performance.
Yeah, good horse. I think we'll even see better of him. I think his best is possibly ahead of him. I think the 1,600 metres sees him right out. But what a great weight for age horse he's going to be. He's got a turn of foot. He's adaptable. He settles. And he was well trained. Well, good work, John. And well ridden.
Let's go to Glenn and
Allian. Put the horse right in the race. I thought the unlucky runner in the race was Malcolm, and I think had Malcolm had Racing to Win's run, could have been a different story.
Jimmy wasted for 8 weeks to ride Utzon at 51 kilos. Must have been so disappointing there, Jim, when you saw the swoopers winning and when he was scratched in the morning especially.
Yeah, because up until, you know, the last sort of 72 hours, the horse was really flying, Ken. His preparation was great. Everything was cherry ripe. I was right for the weight and felt strong. I wasn't sort of doing it within a week trying to ride the weight, and I was pretty disappointed, naturally, for myself, but for Les, because Les Bridget put a lot of work into the horse. But then again, that's racing. There's an Epsom coming up shortly.
Johann's Toy unlucky again there, Kenny, for Chrissy Muntz.
She's always unlucky. She's a very good mare, the way she's ridden, and if you want to get runs through the field, well, you know, you've got to trust to luck, and it's deserted him.
Glenn suggests that it was a bit flat there on Monday, the Doncaster being the only Group 1 race on the card. Glenn was trying to get the crowd up, build them up, coming back to scale, suggests that Doncaster should go back to Saturday. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts. They had the 2 of a Saturday back a couple of years, and Monday was a nothing day. 4 and a dog were turning up there. It was totally collapsed. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And if you want to have a big day on a Monday, you've got to have a big race to carry it through, and that race seems to be the Doncaster. Sure, Saturday would be a lot better if you had the Derby and the Doncaster, but you've got to think as a group, as a carnival meeting. And
Darren, was that also the case with Nemesis last weekend?
Yeah, she was stripped too, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, John told me this morning she's okay, she's already in the paddock, but she got a lot of abrasions, I think, on a number of legs last run.
Yes. I think her legs looked like mincemeat after the Doncaster. You know, it was a tragedy what happened to her. She's a great filly, and to see that happen to her. And, you know,
look, I can accept it's not always the jockey behind on the one that does the stripping. It's not always their fault. But sometimes it could be avoided, and the stewards don't punish them enough for not avoiding it, I don't think.
Yeah. She had a hot...
Very happy with the run of Malcolm's run in there?
Yeah, if he would have drawn a gate, he would have won. When he come out, when I loomed up to 200, I thought he was going to come to beat them, but then the last 100, his momentum kept going, but it wasn't quite as strong.
Will he definitely get the 1,600 in the right
for
circumstances?
Sure. I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Is he going to Brisbane?
The boss of Emirates. Harrowell on Monday, I think it was, or last Saturday. He does a super job with the team, and Emirates certainly appreciative sponsors all around, including the big Melbourne Cup and the Oaks meeting here in Sydney. Looking at the prices for the Emirates AJC Oaks, number 1 Serenade Rose, $1.10 on the New South Wales tab. I can tell you over a half point better than that with the bookmakers. So 3 Empress Lily, $16 is spot on. Beauty Watch, $14 is comparable. Anna Pine, $41, 15 points short.
Watch took a backward step as the starter let them go and missed the starter length. Fancy Free down to the inside, takes it up in the early stages from Falsetto, and Floridanica's racing forward today. She goes up on the outside. Anna Pine was next. Serenade Rose is 3 wide going out of the straight. He's trying to work in a little bit closer. Beauty Watch was next, followed by 800 to go in the Oaks, and it's Fancy Free trying to lead all the way, leads by about 2 lengths on Falsetto. Floridanica is next, and then came in behind them over on the inside Anna Pine from Serenade Rose. Then came Beauty Watch, and further back was Empress Lily, and then came in behind them as they turn Operetta Lass, and Alberghetti is last of all. It's Fancy Free being challenged by Falsetto. Floridanica moving up. Serenade Rose is coming up around the outside, and Anna Pine got a beautiful inside run. Floridanica sprinted best at the rise. Serenade Rose is out after it on the outside. It's Floridanica in front. He starts to get busy on Serenade Rose, and the favourite raced up and hit the front, and she's going to join a select band of fillies to win both both Oaks. She's coming strongly to the line, Serenade Rose, and Serenade Rose will win it from Floridanica. Beauty Watch was third, and then came in behind them Anna Pine, and then came Empress Lily. Further back was Alberghetti, Operetta Lass Falsetto, and Fancy Free, after setting the pace, has run a distant last.
The Oaks double, Kenny, the VRC Oaks last November. Glenn Boss picked up the ride, and a few anxious moments, but class prevailed. Serenade Rose, too good, Kenny, the winner, Serenade Rose. And what about the second horse, Floridanica? She's yet to win a race, but she's now got earnings of $367,000.
Yeah, the same exacta as in the Victoria Derby. The winner, Oaks Serenade, the Victoria Oaks Serenade Rose, with Floridanica second. Here's the winner.
You know, there probably wasn't a lot to tell. You know, she was obviously going to be too good, but I assured Stephen that I'd look after today, because I'm sure that when he gets back on her in the spring, they're going to have a lot of fun together, because she's, for her size, she's got immense talent, and actually, when you're over her back, she feels like a big horse. She doesn't feel like the size of her stature, so well done. No, I just appreciate the ride.
Right, my favourite, Serenade Rose, beating Floridanica, as she did in the VRC Oaks. Beauty Watch running third. Damien, Serenade Rose, is she the sort of, is she a special harmony, a horse that you had a lot to do with Lee?
Yeah, well, both quite similar fillies, both dominant of their 3-year-old fillies age group. Special Harmony ran in the Derby, not the Oaks, but she was probably not a true stayer. I think she was more a mile and a quarter horse, which was able to win an Oaks, whereas this filly seems to just get better as she gets over more ground. On the turn there, looked like there was a few anxious moments where maybe you thought she wasn't quite going to do it, but the further they went, she just, you know, dominated her class. And you know, in an era where we've got probably a lack of top class horses, you know, next year she could go on to be a Cups horse or perhaps a Cox Plate horse.
Well, Stephen,
Bruce, she's clearly the 3-year-old filly of the year. Is she the 3-year-old of the year?
Well, I don't know, Ken. Against her own, she's beaten very moderate opposition, and she's been beautifully placed by Lee, resisted the temptation to go to the Derby. I think the 3-year-old of the year is Head Turner.
Yeah. He's the one that's got a lot of scope to go on with too, because you thought his best win obviously was the Derby. He was unlucky in the VRC Derby, and you know, he looks like a horse that's just going to get better. So you know, he's probably the next up and coming horse for perhaps the Cups or even the Cox Plate.
She look. The last 5 or 6 years, the filly that's come out of these races, you say, wait till the Cups come around, and they haven't measured up. But this filly's very strong, and as Damien pointed out, the last bit's where she impresses you, so she might be the stayer out of them.
Oh, that's a big week for Glenn.
And they were the same fillies that she's been beating to a large degree.
I thought she would have won it a bit easier, Richard.
She never seems to put too much space on anything. I think she does what she has to do. I think that's just her nature, Andrew, and you know, she miscalculated slightly in Melbourne, I think, when she was beaten, but you know, she's just too dominant for them at the moment. Now, the big leap comes when she goes to 4-year-old next spring. That is a massive leap, because what she'll meet is 6 lengths better than what she has been meeting.
Yeah. You got it up to...
Well, the race coming up is the Group 1 Galaxy, as you said, and what a sprint it is. Is every year. The TJ Smith last weekend is the weight for age race. This is the handicap, the up-and-comers, the hot favourite, California Dane.
Yeah, Lee Freeman looking for 2 Group 1s on our program. California, 3 points shorter on track. Proprietor, $35 is spot on. Media, $11.20, about a point shorter on train. $19, 6 points shorter. Our Sweet Moss, Brent Stanley replacing Darren Lamarck, and there's good money for number 14, Magically, Glenn Boss, looking to make it a race-to-race Group 1 victory, $7. They get as excited as the connections from the Oaks.
Racing in the Galaxy, and Mustard missed the start. He's a clear last. Coming out well was Our Sweet Moss, and Motspur showing speed. Proprietors up there but easing back, and Magically is scooting along the inside. Century Serb is going forward as well. Century Serb will take the lead from Dance the Waves, going to second, improving the third Impaler from Motspur, and then Our Sweet Moss Magically back on the inside in 6th spot from Strata, California Dane midfield, and then came Black Ink, followed by Proprietor, Crimson Rain Media. Mustard was further back and undoubtedly is last and racing sluggishly under the whip. It's Century Serb bringing for home just in front here of Impaler in 2nd spot from Dance the Waves. Magically going up on the inside, and then came Motspur, followed by Our Sweet Moss and California Dane trying to force out into the clear, and then came Proprietor. It's Magically going up on the inside to join Century Serb, and then came Impaler, Proprietor and Motspur down the outside with Strata and Media, and Black Ink got a rails run. Proprietor took the lead in the centre. Media's coming at it on the outside. Black Ink the rail, but Proprietor wins the Galaxy. Proprietor beats Media. Black Ink was third from Strata and Mustard and Magically, and then California Dane and Crimson Rain. Further back was Motspur, Century Serb, Impaler, Our Sweet Moss, Dance the Waves, and undoubtedly was last of all.
Well, Stephen Baster for Paul Perry. Proprietor wins the Group 1 Galaxy, beating White. That was Black Ink running third, taking the inside passage. 6, 7 and 2. 6, 7 and 2. $44 the winner. Okay.
California Dane and Crimson.
Well, he's been a busy horse throughout the autumn, Proprietor, and he gets a Group 1 victory, $41 for Paul Perry, Media and Black Ink. The Melbourne pair, Damien, there in California Dane and Magically, both disappointed.
Yeah, well, probably first run for both of them at the highest level, and you know, going the reverse way, a little bit of an ask for them, but I wouldn't write them off. You know, when they get back to Melbourne, I'm sure you'll see better runs from them. I quite like the run of Strata in there. I reckon he's a promising horse and still a little bit untapped there. I think there's a bright future for him.
Kenny, have we got the timing of these races right? The Galaxy, TJ Smith?
I think there's a bit of an argument to put the Galaxy on first and see if a horse comes through that and can take the next step. It wasn't there this year. Proprietor wouldn't have been winning at Wade for Age. But all credit to Proprietor here. But perhaps, you know, put the Galaxy on the Saturday and the TJ Smith the Wednesday, but then can a horse then run in the TJ and back up in the All Age? There's a lot of little things you can do, but it doesn't always work out. I thought Media's run was terrific here. She's a top grade filly and got within a neck of the winner.
And there's smiling Steve Baster. Good to see Steve come to Sydney and ride a Group 1.
It's the Percy Marks, great sponsor of the AJC. Frank Packer played over 2,000 metres. Well,
back in 1997, it's been a pretty year for race. Freemasons won it, Kenny, and Clang-a-Lang. And here we've got a short price favourite in number 1, Manton. $1.80. You can get better odds here on course. Impatient Star 6. Very heavily backed, and he's our market mover, obviously. He's red figures in the betting ring, red figures on the tote, and
in racing. And Europa and the Jonker jumped out very quickly. Showing some speed was Dream Machine and Super Lacuna. Manton is firing across from that outside stall, but Majorca and Newport are trying to go with him in the early stages. Fifth in the centre. He's right on the back of the grey Newport, and then came Born to Rule. Back behind them next Europa and Dream Machine. And then came back at the rear of the field as Regal Trokey as they come up towards the turn, and Impatient Star is just up in front of it. Heading for home now, and the Jonker's the leader. It's in front here by a couple of lengths on Super Lacuna. Newport's the first beaten. Majorca was next from Born to Rule. Manton got shuffled back into the field, and he's got 3 or 4 lengths to make up. It's Super Lacuna in front from the Jonker. Born to Rule down the outside from Impatient Star and Regal Trokey. And Dream Machine is starting to burst through in the centre. It's Born to Rule in front. Dream Machine's gathering it in. Dream Machine comes through quickly, and it's a photo, but I reckon Dream Machine in the last bound from Born to Rule. Not sure third, they're everywhere. Super Lacuna, the Jonker and Regal Trokey from Impatient Star, and then Europa, followed by Newport and Manton, so the bookies get the lot there. The favourites missed the place, and last in was Majorca.
Well, there was money for a late Dream Machine, $17 into $12. Money for a late Dream Machine, $17 into $12.
Home from Canterbury 10 days ago, $31 was bet there. She started 14s, and they've butted up again today on this David Payne trained filly in the red and black, well ridden by Hugh Bowman.
On the favourite Manton from Wide Gates went forward, but Manton got into a good spot. Newport wouldn't settle. The pace okay until mid. Canterbury, its previous start, and again yesterday, 17s into 12s. Dream Machine, best stayer in the race yesterday, beating Born to Rule and Super Lacuna. Disappointing favourites there was certainly Manton, who was galloped on, and Jimmy Cassidy's mount Newport. Jimmy just rode the winner, rode impatiently, rode her. Was heavily back there yesterday, but got galloped on, as I mentioned, but that mightn't have been the only reason they got beaten.
Yeah, good comment by Darren Beaver. Said it doesn't take much to put Manton off his game, and you're probably more likely to find him down Oxford Street than out in the track there.
You're not a Sydney boy, you know that.
Thank you, Bruce. We'll run through the totes now for this very interesting Group 1 affair. 8 runners in the Daily Telegraph all-age stakes. All the racing news, of course. All that price on course. Paratroopers, $1.80. You can't even get that on course at the moment. Schnitzel, $7.50. $9.60 for Shania Dane as a special gift.
Out as well with Schnitzel. And they're off. Snitzel jumped quickly. Regal Cheer stayed in the boxes. She missed the start 5 or 6 lengths. Regal Cheer. Better hold on to your tickets there. Stratum's going through on the inside to lead from Snitzel, and Dance Hero's going up on the outside to make a line of 3. Paratroopers is in behind them, and he's going to be wide into the first bend trying to get some cover. And then Outback Prince Shania Stratum leading by about a half a length on Dance Hero. Snitzel behind them, and then came on the inside Outback Prince from Paratroopers. He's gone back to 5th on the outside of the stablemate Shania Dane. Nicanero is second last and 2 lengths to Regal Cheer. Dance Hero goes up to attack for the lead now at the 600, putting pressure on Stratum. And Dance Hero's the leader. Behind them is Snitzel from Outback Prince. Paratroopers 4 off the lead. It's on the outside of Shania Dane, Nicanero, and Regal Cheer is last at the 400. And as they turn for home, it's Dance Hero the leader, beating off Stratum, Snitzel and Paratroopers coming down the outside. Then Outback Prince and Nicanero. Paratroopers is going up to Snitzel. They've beaten off Dance Hero. Snitzel's a neck in front of Paratroopers. Paratroopers, he's gone for the stick and it's surged to the lead. Shania Dane and Nicanero are coming on the outside. Paratroopers is in front. Nicanero dived at him. Paratroopers or Nicanero, leave it to the judges, nothing in it, right on the line. Shania Dane 3rd, and then Snitzel Regal Cheer has put up an amazing performance to finish 5th, and then Dance Hero followed by Stratum, and Outback Princess last of all.
Well, I think the favourite's going to get the prize in a sensational all-age stakes. Action from the start. Kenny declared that Stratum would be ridden forward. And I think it might have upset some of the tactics there because Paratroopers did get left 3 wide early.
Yeah, Snitzel sort of eased, and then Dance Hero under. A good tough effort, Pete.
Certainly was, Richard. No one could deny him his first Group 1. He's been runner-up by inches on 2 other occasions, so he probably only won by an inch today, but we'll take that.
He got Troopers, first Group 1 for the Son of Commands for Darren Beedman and John Hawkes. Nicanero off to Hong Kong in a couple of weeks after a good performance yesterday, and Shania Dane, her typically honest run at Group 1 level. Jimmy, you're right, Outback Prince there, 50s into 25s.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, a bit surprising to hear that.
121.54 they ran there, so they were hiking along there.
Oh, look, they went from barrier to box. They just went hard the whole way, and you know, when they're running 21, you've got to be pretty good. That's why a couple of the back markers that got home, their runs were very good.
Certainly, we'll get to those shortly. But Darren Beedman, well, Snitzel has been officially retired after his performance yesterday. We want to take you back to the start, and Damien, as a jock, you can take us through this Regal Cheer. Astonishing performance by this horse.
Barrier 4.
Yeah, look for barrier 4. There's nothing you can do, is there?
No, well, you're just a passenger when that happens. Obviously, she's just been in a bit of a mood, and she's sort of done a kind of a bunny hop, if you like, before she's actually come out. And when they're in that frame of mind and they're in that, they're sort of almost locked into that action where they're just going up in the air, you really can't do much about it.
99% of the time, it's the horse mucking around in the barrier that causes them to do something like that.
Look at the effort here, Ken.
Bruce, I think the horse was gone not long after he got to the lead, and I reckon Guts got him home. Guts and the Dazzler. Good to see Paratroopers win a Group 1. It's certainly Group 1 standard. Just thinking, Bruce, whether 1400 even finds him out, his absolute best go might be in a 1200 when he's back off the pace and they go very quickly in front. But he's a versatile horse with courage.
And that's Regal Cheer. You can see the yellow and black colours. Missed at 7. Helped or diminished his value by running yesterday?
Look, he's a son of Redute's Choice. If you can't get into Redute's Choice, you haven't got the 300 grand. Snitzel's going to be a great option. He's a fast horse. Early comer as a 2-year-old. He's got the Snippets breed on his dam side. He's bred for speed. I think he's going to be a good, useful side. John Massara is...
We got into a nice spot and just did what he had to do to get home, and thank God we did.
Yeah. Not everything went according to the script. When a couple, Stratum kicked up there and a few others.
Yeah, on paper, when you look at it, I was always going to be they were always going to probably dictate to me. But when the filly missed the kick, that threw a spanner in the works, and it just allowed me to get in. If she jumps, I think I probably would have been. I would have probably been second last, which would have been.
We're going to have a look at Regal Cheer here, coming from Gate. Group 1, the Champagne Stakes before us. And interesting betting race, Kenny. The tote went up $4, Miss Finland. It's tightened right into $2.60, and it's a clear favourite in the betting ring. There they are on screen.
I still think the 260s are a luxury, Bruce.
I hope you're right. 12.40 all far at $24.80, 10 points shorter in the on course. 10 Gallant Tess at $23.20.
And like she opened around the 230 mark, she's still around that touch.
Racing. And the one missed the start with All Far and Playground Express. Miss Finland came out very quickly. Down the wicket and Mentality driving up on the inside, and Backdraft's in that group as well. Delago neck away from Gallant Tess and Backdraft. And then Miss Finland about 6 lengths off the lead on the outside of Empire's Choice. The New Zealander, the one behind it, followed by Playground Express. And last of all is All Far. Mentality given a breather coming up towards the 600 by a length and a half on Delago Miss being niggled at. And then came My Midi. Down the wickets had a good run on the outside from Gallant Tess. Back behind them is Backdraft. Now Empire's Choice and Miss Finland starting to peel out. He missed the run on Empire's Choice and went back to the inside. And then Playground Express in the one. It's Mentality leading up the rise from Delago Mist. Then came down the wicket. My Midi gets a rails run. Miss Finland starting to wind up down the outside from Backdraft and Empire's Choice. Mentality still in front, leads from Delago Mist. Miss Finland coming down the outside now. It's Mentality hanging on the inside. Mentality all the way in the Champagne. Mentality wins it from Miss Finland, I'd say, second. Gallant Tess third. And then came Delago Mist. Empire's Choice was next from All Far. Then down the wicket and Backdraft the one, followed by Playground Express, and last in was My Midi.
Well, it's Darren Beeman and John Hawkes again. The horse was knocked out of play last week in the Sires Produce. Draws one out today. Beeman goes to the front, controls the race.
And plenty of good owners, Pete. Mentality. Great performance.
Yeah, first for a lot of people in this horse, Richard, and a great result for them.
In front, we heard just before, the great win.
Yeah, super matey. He's always sort of shown the potential to win a really handy race, but he's just got to wind the clock back a little bit in his head. But he got into all the trouble in the world the other day, and his win 2 starts before was sensational. And when he got to the front today, he just switched off. And
the result for Flying Spur. Mentality. Darren controlled the race through the first 1,000 in 60.35, home in 34.74, and Mentality gets the Group 1 Champagne Stakes. Miss Finland Brave and Gallant running second. Gallant Tess, a horse for the future, certainly over the staying distances as a 3-year-old running third. Jimmy, you rode All Far in the race. What do you think of the Encosta Delago filly?
Yeah, lovely filly. I think because she was back, it didn't help. I think a brilliant ride by Darren.
This season, of course, I got chills, had all the ticks early in the season. Who should be Australia's champion 2-year-old, do you think?
Well, I think probably Miss Fanland. She's the one that's sort of done it the longest and competed for the longest time and stayed at the highest level, so she'd probably be my pick, I think.
Kenny, you were with Miss Finland yesterday. I know you went under punting-wise, but her performance was good.
Thought her performance was terrific. No excuses. Mentality was too good. Well ridden and surprised us all. This is a horse that started odds on in the Breeders' Plate early in the year, and we thought he was a 4 furlong horse, but he's come out. He was too good yesterday. But having said that, I was not disappointed with Miss Finland, except me pocket was. I thought that she performed admirably, and I think she's clearly the 2-year-old of the year. It's a no contest. She's had 3 runs at Group 1 level for a win in 2 seconds. No other 2-year-old. That gives her 7 points if you want to do it that way. No other 2-year-old can compare with that. She's got the dominant 2-year-old win of the season, the slipper by 4.5 lengths. She's going to become one of the stars of the Aussie turf. Not too many horses these days back up in the other races after the slipper, and a few times now we get the fresh horse.
If you can draw a good gate, like that was the instructions from Hawksy, bounce him out and put him in the race. Like when he won the Value, he got back. It was a strong 7 furlong race, and he looked like he's a bit of a back marker, but he's the type of horse you've got to have him where he's comfortable and nice and relaxed. And yesterday I banged him out and sort of was very positive for the first furlong and a half, 2 furlongs. I think he was running sub-11s and for the first 2, but once I got there, then he just switched off, relaxed, pricked his ears, and just got his momentum, his breathing happening, and he was very comfortable from about the 1200.
So too Gallant Tess, who got a clod back, believes she can be a good staying filly, a VRC Oaks filly later on in the year.
Yeah, and I tell you what, there's a Derby horse in that, Empire's Choice. He's a horse that just keeps hitting the line. I really like him. He's like a head turner coming out of the spring. He's the horse coming from the autumn that'll really measure up.
Yeah, you have.
Look, he's just a horse that attacks the line. I think he's a stayer, a real stayer. There's no get up and go about him, but I like him a lot.
The third of our Group 1s today is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Won in the last 2 years, of course, by Grand Army. It's been a great race, Kenny, and we've got a worthy favourite here in Nevermind, $1.60. Almost got to black figures on course, and then punter stepped in.
I saw $1.95 out there, but didn't quite see the $2.
The only other $7, and has been tried to beat the favourite, the $7.
Back to the 2,000. It makes still. He's a versatile weight for age horse. He's got that bit of dash about him.
Away Casual Pass hunted out of the stalls from the inside to take up the running. Above Deck is close to him, and Desert War's going forward as well, and Aqua D'Amore looks like she's going to race handy. She's fourth at the moment, followed by Eramine. Men at Work was next, followed by further back behind them Aqua D'Amore. Roman Arch on the rail. The favourite Eramine is second last in traffic, and 2 lengths to Extreme. It's Casual Pass and Desert War. They match strides with Desert War, putting the acid test on now. On the outside, Above Deck a length away. Men at Work's travelling up behind those horses, followed by De Beers and Aqua D'Amore. And then Roman Arch. Eramine is still back second last, and he's off the bit, and Extreme is last. It's Desert War on the outside, a Casual Pass. They had a bit of a bump, and then came Aqua D'Amore coming down the outside with Above Deck. Men at Work gets the split, and Eramine has still a lot of work to do. It's Aqua D'Amore taking the lead on the outside from Above Deck, and Men at Work and Desert War. Eramine is grinding away. It's Aqua D'Amore in front. Now Eramine is starting to put in the big ones, and Eramine raced up and hit the lead, and Eramine wins it from Aqua D'Amore. He came from the clouds. Extreme got third, and then came Men at Work, followed by Above Deck, Roman Arch, Desert War, Casual Pass, and De Beers hasn't backed up from the Derby and finished a long last.
Well, he's the best horse in Australia, Kenny. He was never going to win that race until when it counted at the finish post. An outstanding performance.
Class. You can't define it always, but when you see it, you know you've seen it.
You can just see this great horse home. Great performance. First horse now to complete the Ranvet BMW and Queen Elizabeth Stakes treble. And
topping the ride.
Tough work getting it, but you've got it.
Exactly. He's paid out. We might even have the side on replay in a minute. You'll see what I mean.
He got to the line, wasn't he?
Mate, he's been a super horse for a long time now, and well, he's confirmed he's the best weight for age galloper in the country.
Well, he hasn't got all the pats on the back he deserves, but he ought to get him now, I think.
Mate, coming back from, of course, the BMW, the mile and a half, back to the 2000, I suppose a few little training regimes?
No, pretty straight, you know. It's easy to train good ones, it's hard with the bad ones.
And 2 law owners, Jeff and Beryl. The Allen Denham last year, almost a Triple Crown as a 3-year-old. This year, the Ranvet, the BMW, and now the Big Pond Sport, Queen Elizabeth.
That with Group 1 Glenn.
Yeah, 10 Group 1s now for the season for the boss man. The other horse you got plenty of time for, the 3 big ones this season.
Yeah, he's provided me with some great highlights, this horse. 3 Group 1s for me. And what a way to bring up my double figures on this wonderful horse. I can't say much about this horse. He's will to win. At weight for age, he's going to be unstoppable, this horse. And I can't wait for the spring because I've got a feeling he's going to be very, very dominant. Well, he does go through that flat period there for about 10 yards or so, but I was never, ever going to lose a race. I felt very confident the whole race. Because he's just got unbelievable sprinting powers.
It's Australia's best weight for age horse, Eramine. 5 Group 1s. I don't think there's a horse currently racing, Kenny, at the moment, who's won 5 Group 1s.
Not that I can place, Bruce, certainly not. And he's a horse that's crept up on us a bit. We said on this program that he was a horse to follow in the weight for age races, but you didn't dream then that he'd win the Ranvet, the BMW and the Queen Elizabeth. No other horse has done that.
Never been done before. Let's have a look at... Well, that win gave Glenn Boss his 10th Group 1 for the season. Congratulations to Glenn Boss and a great job done by Alan Denham. The favourite got home.
And I believe that he'll have a very good preparation in the spring.
It'd be more like a Cox Plate horse or a Melbourne Cup horse. What do you think?
I think he's very adaptable, Ollie. I think if we really targeted the Cox Plate, I'd imagine Cox Plate would be a perfect race for him. And it's really up to the connections whether they think he's going to cop the workload to go into a Melbourne Cup.
Amongst ourselves there, Damien, $4 million this horse is out now. Eramine, is he the best weight for age horse we've got?
Well, I think he is, and as Bossy said there's not a great deal of depth. We're going through a transition period with the weight for age horses at the moment, but you can't take anything away from him. He's like getting a string of picket fence together now, and he is a dominant horse. We were just talking before that, you know, whether he's a little maybe down for a Cox Plate, but you'd probably, if you went into it a bit on the fresh side, he's the one you'd want to be on. As Bossy said, if it gets wet, which is every chance it can do in Melbourne in the spring, he could go that way. And perhaps a Melbourne Cup, you might be just looking at getting a little bit too much weight for that now. But you know, with a little bit of lack of depth, you know, he's a horse that could almost do both.
It's amazing, Bossy, isn't he, Jim, that Maccabi Diva goes and he pinned his hopes on this horse. I mean, you've got to do that these days. You've got to try and identify a horse at some time out, and he he told the whites he'd stick with this horse, and he did.
Yeah, well, look, you know, that's racing. You've got to keep your eyes open, and all jockeys are always looking for the next one, and you know, things are falling on their feet there for Bossy.
Bruce, I placed this horse to perfection over the whole carnival. He lifted off the canvas yesterday. He was back, and they slowed mid-race, and it was certainly an exceptional performance from a horse that's, you know, really taken control of this carnival.
I don't want to take anything away from him. I mean, he is a very, very special horse, and he's going to be something to beat in the springtime, you know, Cox Plate-wise, as long as he gets the conditions to suit him and he comes up again. But Aqua de Mall, what a run it was. Yeah, he should have nearly won.
Yeah, you get a lot of support from a lot of punters out there.
It just went 4 and 5 deep and carted Aramine into the race, basically, and just had no luck at all, and was unlucky not to hang on.
She's been up a long time. She's been to every carnival too, so she's really an iron mare. There's no doubt about it, Aqua de Mall, and probably a special mention for Ike's Dream, who's just missed consistency, maybe just struggles at the 2000?
A little bit, probably about 9 furlongs would be her go, but sort of held up.
For the running of this year's Schweppes Sydney Cup, 3,200 metres. We've had 3 Group 1s already today, Kenny, 2 to D. Beam and 1 to Glen Boss.
The cream rises to the top again, Bruce.
There's the totes on screen. We've had an early move already for the favourite number 6 Forum. Not as short as that, $2.30. Also on the market, you can see on Azure $8.70, Lachlan River $7.40. Forum a clear favourite in the betting ring, but not as short as the $2.30, but not quite 2 to 1, quite surprisingly. Quite 2 to 1, quite surprisingly. Over the page, you'll see that Glensmount 3 Chimneys $12.70 is in the market, and Molotov at $8.60. So top favourite clearly is 6 Forum for Darren Beedman. 250 is exactly what's happening on course.
3 Chimneys jumped out very quickly. So too did Crossbar down near the inside. Demerger jumped away well with Colemane. Al's Flyer is not all that far away, and No Wine, No Song is going up near the inside. Let's see where they're going to settle down, and it's Crossbar in front now. Lachlan River has gone up to settle down second. Demerger's a little bit wide. She's about 3rd or 4th at the moment. No Wine, No Song first Ben with the white cap. He's at about 4 wide. Envoy was next from Molotov on a journey, and Not Fussy's broken down, and she's being retired from the race at the 650, and it's Zarbeat on top in the cup. Leads from Crossbar. Lachlan Rivers under the stick now. He's dropped back to 3rd, and then came in behind them 3 Chimneys. Right around the outside, Demerger, No Wine, No Song. Forum is running up behind horses on the rail. He looks to have a lap full of horse, but he needs room, and then County Tyrone. Danebar was next from Envoy. As they turn for home, and the run comes for Forum. He's about to squeeze into the clear, and it's Zarbeat in front, but Forum claimed in quickly. Down the outside is County Tyrone. Then came 3 Chimneys, and further back was Crossbar. County Tyrone on the outsides in front in the cup. Forum can't do any better from Zarbeat. Colemane's running on lake with 3 Chimneys, but County Tyrone has won the Sydney Cup. County Tyrone from Zarbeat and 3 Chimneys. Forum didn't stay the trip, and then Colemane and Danebar and Onajern, and then came running on Molotov from No Wine, No Song to Merger. Back behind them, Crossbar and Envoy, Lachlan River. Al's Flyer and Not Fussy was pulled up out of the race near the 1,000-metre mark, and she's broken down. And County Tyrone has taken out the Sydney Cup. I'm not sure how many cracks he's had at winning the race.
Well, he's run in 4 Sydney Cups. He's run in 4 Sydney Cups, and now he is a deserving winner. He's run second. He's a deserving winner. He's run second in it twice, 4th in it on the other occasion, and he was a superior stayer today. He's run in 7.
But it was County Tyrone who got to them and beat them. The pumper. His first 2-mile win over here was on Kiwi, and here's another one.
Well, there he is out wide. Well, there he is out wide.
Do you think Forum was travelling sweetly coming to the bend?
Oh, he was, Kenny, but he had a beautiful run. But as you said, he just failed to run out the 3,200 metres, and the old season campaigner, County Tyrone, he was too strong for him.
And then Colemane and Danebar and Onajern, and then came running on Mollet.
Well, it was an emotional win for Jimmy Cassidy and Chris Lees. County Tyrone beating Zarbeat and 3 Chimneys. And it was an emotional time for yesterday there, Jimmy. You made a lot of that. Your association with Max Lees going back a long way.
Yeah, oh, look, you know, Maxie, when I first come to Sydney back in '84, even I was tied to Mayfield and the Nebo Lodge camp, Maxie really kicked me off with Sprightly Native. I won the Metrop, and then we run into Coronation Day. But Maxie, I went to Wyong and Gosford, a few of the country tracks when I first got here, and he was a great supporter of the city.
County Tyrone, Jimmy Cassidy. You rode Forum in the race, the favourite. Every chance?
Yeah, I think he had every chance. Going down the first corner, he got roughed up a little bit, which probably just switched him on a little bit too much. You really got to...
He believes that he'll keep the horse to races like the Metrop at that sort of distance. Three Chimneys, the Kiwi horses performed very well. Three Chimneys will be back for the Sydney Cup next year, according to its trainer. And Zarbeat, good little story, this one. Donna Logan, after running second yesterday, spoke with Bart Cummings and said, Bart, what should we do with Zarbeat? And he said, don't worry about it. Take the horse to Melbourne. He deserves his crack in the Melbourne Cup.
That was just a case of improving out of sight in a short space of time, because it was absolutely pathetic at Randwick the previous start, I thought.
Yeah, it's a classic case of a horse simply outstaying in first, second and third. It all had experience over 2 mile, where the two favourites hadn't been to that level yet. Look,
Ronnie, what did you think of Olivia Deleuze riding the horse? Watching it yesterday, was 5 or 6 off the running rail a lap from home. Was there much discussion about the ride yesterday?
Why should there be? Look, they went hard out of the barrier. He balanced that horse. Well, you're coming down the straight. Who cares how wide you are?
Ronnie, I'm not having a crack. I'm just asking you.
No, I think he's having a crack, Ronnie.
No. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was poetry in motion, watching him race.
He allowed him just to cruise up to the leaders.
From the 2,000 metres to the mile, he was running 16 seconds.
Ask Darren. I mean, he's out there letting him just roll to the front on his, with no horses around him. The horse was beautifully relaxed.
Richard,
you like Olivier Deleuze, you know him. He's a Frenchman based in Hong Kong.
He's out there.
He's a brother
of Sydney Cup. Jimmy Flying. We're talking about bookmakers having an opinion, and you need to have an opinion to put your markets out so far away from a Cox Plate, a Caulfield Cup and a Melbourne Cup.
Hang on,
Michael Oscander's done so here. There's Eremine, your favourite, and rightly so. But $7, you'd be happy to take the sevens now, wouldn't you?
6 to 1? No, I wouldn't be happy now. 6
Racing
to 1,
to win in the market.
15%.
Just give us
8 to 1's 12%. This will be over 100% in no time.
Of course, of the manner in the market. Head Turner, I think more Caulfield Cup for him. Hotel Grand needs to come back. Paratroopers, well, I don't think he run the Cox Plate trip. Primus, he's now we've got some internationals there. Hurricane Run, well, he's a 3-year-old Oaks winner, always comes up favourite in the Caulfield Cup. No surprise there with Michael $11, El Segundo $13. Head Turner would be my pick at this stage, $13, and a couple of forgotten ones there, Steve, like a Falcon, of course we didn't see in the autumn, and Candy Vale at $21.
Yes, interesting. We also see iPopper there at 20 to 1, who ran such a brilliant race in the Caulfield Cup last year.
Well, there's a few
placed in the Belmont last year, so he's a legitimate horse.
And of course, a badge of silver for the Cox Plate. Now, Head Turner, we saw a favourite there. Now, we saw iPopper on the first pace, Heart's Cry there. This afternoon,